Welcome to Homefront on County Cable Montgomery. I'm Mike Steuben and I represent the county's Commission on Veterans Affairs. Homefront takes you inside the stories of Montgomery County's veterans. We also try to help veterans find the services they may need. Today we are going to have a very special program, a special guest, Dr. Norvell Coots, who is CEO at Holy Cross Hospital and Trinity Healthcare in this region. He is retired Brigadier General, former Commanding General, CEO of Regional Health Command Europe. He was Surgeon General, United States Forces in Afghanistan. Dr. Coots, General, you have spoken about cultural competency and addressed that issue several times. Could you explain to our audience exactly what that is and about the video they're about to see?
Yes, certainly. So one of the things that we have recognized is that the United States has been in several wars in the late 20th century and the beginning of the 21st century. But since the end of the Vietnam War, people stopped asking the question, have you ever served? And that was probably more political than it was anything else. Now we have several generations of healthcare providers who have grown up serving this very population without fully understanding who they are, what it is they've gone through, and what things that they should be looking for when they see them, when they show up in their emergency rooms or in their clinics, articulating problems and things like that. There are a couple of things that everyone should remember is number one, no one goes to war and comes back the same person. Even if they don't have PTSD, they have something that makes them a little bit different than the person who left. And the second is that family members serve too. The spouses and the children of those military service members who have deployed, and often deployed frequently, have issues to deal with as well. But if you never ask the question, have you ever served? Or ask the question, are you the spouse or the child of a service member? You'll never know what actually lies behind that patient that you're seeing in the emergency room who comes in for something special. So the video that you're about to see is actually an introductory video that I made for the Emergency Nurses Association meeting, which was being held at Holy Cross Hospital in Silver Spring. I saw that on the program for that day, they actually had 3 military topics that they were going to talk about. And I said, perfect, I know exactly what I want to do to introduce this because I feel very strongly about it myself. Having served in combat, having been in Central America in the 80s and then Afghanistan about 5 years ago, I myself have very mild PTSD. And there are days that I have difficulty dealing with it, and I recognize that my wife and my kids suffer from that as well. So from personal experience, I made this video. Welcome.
How difficult was it for you to make this video, and how personally important was it to you?
Well, it was hard. It was hard to admit that I had PTSD that I was dealing with. I've treated soldiers day in and day out who have dealt with PTSD. I've helped set up programs from the Surgeon General's office level, from the level of the Pentagon to deal with it. But having to admit that I myself was actually suffering from it was not very easy. But luckily, we've had a number of senior leaders here recently who have made the bold statement to stand up and say, I am suffering from PTSD. It makes it easier for the troops to then do it because, you know, there's always a certain amount of stigma that surrounds any sort of behavioral health issue. And so in order to remove the stigma, we leaders have to step up and admit that we too are suffering just like our troops.
Well, the video is coming up. Please look at it, take it seriously, and walk away with the lessons of why it is so important to be culturally competent in this area of healthcare. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Mike.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Van Coots, the President and CEO of Holy Cross Health. And I'm so sorry that I can't be with you in person, but I do want to welcome you to our facility for this great Emergency Nurses Conference. You have some very timely topics, and I'm particularly interested in the 3 military topics. As you know, we're seeing more and more veterans with PTSD and comorbidities in the ERs. And sometimes we're seeing veterans without even knowing it. Sometimes that patient who comes in for a chronic knee problem may have more going on. But if we never ask about military service, we won't know who or what may be behind that knee. Now hold on just a second and allow me to start over. So good morning, everyone. I'm retired Brigadier General Van Coots, the President and CEO of Holy Cross Health, and I think you're going to have a good conference today. The three military topics are obviously near and dear to me, and here's why. According to the VA, I'm rated as an 80% disabled combat veteran. I have a bum right knee and a bum left shoulder, and my doctor would often tell me that I have the back of a 90-year-old coal miner. In my 36-year Army career, I've jumped out of or fallen off of the back of more trucks than I care to remember. I was shot at in 1983 in Central America, but still today, I jump at high-pitched sharp sounds, and I have a hard time with fireworks. I spent a year in Afghanistan and was on 133 convoys by ground and did 42 battlefield circulations by air. And so now, I'm an uneasy flyer. In fact, I hate flying. And I'm hypervigilant in traffic. I see everything. And perhaps I see too much. I hate crowds. So if I go to the mall at all, I go early or late to avoid large groups of people. So if you think I have mild PTSD, then you're correct. My wife is a real trooper. Every time I would leave, she would pull out the important document file with the insurance policies, the investments, the power of attorney, and my will, just in case she'd wind up as a widow. And my kids first saw the results of war when they would visit me at my office at Walter Reed. And they would ask why that soldier had no legs, or that one no arms, or that one no face. But after a while, they got used to it, and it became normal for them. And when I was in Afghanistan, my wife couldn't let the children watch or listen to any news, because any time a convoy was hit or a helicopter was shot down, my son was sure that I was dead, because I had a friend who was doing a job similar to mine, and he did die when the helicopter in which he was touring the battlefield was hit by a rocket. And his wife, also a friend, did become a widow. And his children did lose their father. So my kids have PTSD too. But if you saw me in the ED, and you only looked at my bum right knee, and you never asked if I had ever served, you wouldn't know any of what I just told you. So I know you'll have a great conference, and I wish I was physically there with you, but I'm there with you in spirit. God bless you all for the work that you do on a daily basis, and have a great day.